top of it's going to be hitting the overhang of the roof. But, huh? Scissors? No, I'm not going to cut it. No, no. No, I just, well, when the tomatoes are ready, yeah, I just go out and pull them off and stuff, yeah. Now what I do is, once they get bigger and before they get turned red, I'm going to take, when they're nice and big and they're green, I'm going to take and pull one off. Yeah, the red ones, yeah, but the green ones, no. Now the green ones, I slice up and I make up, and I get some flour, and I get some beat up like 2 or 3 eggs. I slice the green tomatoes up, dip them in the eggs, and then dip them in either the flour or cornmeal mix or something, and then put them in a pan with oil in it, and I fry them up and green fried tomatoes. They are delicious. I used to take when I was in Michigan. I used to take and make green fried tomatoes. But what I would do is I had a cookie sheet, and I would put some parchment paper down on it. I would slice the green tomatoes up, put some on the cookie tray thing, put them in the freezer and freeze them, and then I would take them out and put like 6 of them in a Ziploc, sandwich bag, and then put that Ziploc bag with the sliced tomatoes back in the freezer, and I would do a whole bunch of them up that way, and then I could have green fried tomatoes all winter long while it was, when I couldn't, grow tomatoes, I would still be able to have green fried tomatoes. So I would do that and, just eat them all winter long. Okay, all done. Ah, yep. Mm. But yeah, I, shoot, I slept I went to bed at 9:15. I slept, I'd say, basically around 9 o'clock, probably fell asleep. So I slept from 9, I was in bed, I slept from 9 to 2:20, so that would have been 3, 4, 5, a little over 5 hours. Then after I went to the CR, I got in my chair and went to sleep, and so I figured by I got on my phone, just checked my emails real quick, didn't have anything because it was nighttime, so I normally don't get emails or anything, during the nighttime and stuff. And then went back to sleep and didn't wake up until it was like 5 minutes till 7, because I woke up and I had my curtain closed, but I could see that it was daylight out. So I didn't know for certain exactly what time it was because, my eyes didn't adjust enough yet where I could look up at my clock and stuff. So I just, moved my phone and saw that it was you know, like 5 minutes till 7. So then I said, well, I got to get up now. I mean, I'm not doing anything other than going to get a plasma, but I'll get up. And so I slept for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I slept for about 7.5 hours. So, no, actually, it was longer than that because I slept from 9 to 2:20. So 9, three, four, that's five. And then from three, that's just 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I slept for like 9.5 hours. So you what? You want what? Yeah, 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 yeah. When I you know when I laid down yesterday to take a nap and stuff, I slept for like when you went to bed, which would have still been daylight here, but I shut my curtains and my lights and everything, and just sat here in my chair and went to sleep because Wednesday, going to that concert and not getting home until after 3, and then being to work by 7 and stuff. But when I got off of work yesterday, I came home, and that's when we both went to because it was like, well, when we said goodnight yesterday, it was like, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 1:30 in the morning your time, and because I had only had like 3 hours sleep the night before, and so that's I went to sleep also, and I slept for like 3.5 hours, and because I was tired from not having sleep on Wednesday night, going to that concert and stuff and getting back. So yeah, I slept for about 3.5 hours yesterday afternoon from around, I don't know, say 1:30 to 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. So I slept from like 1:30 until about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And then I got up and I was up until I went to bed at a quarter till 9 last night. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, these phones, when I got my phone plugged in, and because it was down to like 40% when I plugged it in, because I had I had this phone plugged in and stuff, and so I unplugged it and I plugged that phone in because this one right now is at 93%, but this one was at 40% when we started talking just now, and it's at 38%. So even though I got the phone plugged in, it's still, the percentage is still going down, you know, as long as we're talking and stuff, as long as the camera's open, that drains the power. So, but I've got it plugged in, so that just just have to, once we're done talking and stuff later on, when I don't have the camera on or whatever and stuff, it'll just set here plugged in, because I'll make sure it's charged up before I go and get plasma. The only thing that I will be doing is once I answer those questions and stuff that I answer, I will um, I gotta have the phone with me because of that QR code that I gotta scan once I get up to where I get plasma at. So all those questions that I answer on my phone, I can also answer them there. They have a machine where people that when they come in and stuff, they can put in their name and birth date and all that stuff, and the exact same questions I answer on my phone, I can answer there. But it just makes it easier. I can answer all the questions here before I even leave home, and then when I get up there, all I have to do is scan the QR code, and that's it. So No, I don't put nothing on. I don't put any. I don't put any deodorant. No, no. I don't. I don't do none of that stuff. No, no. You spray yourself when you're going out. Yeah, yeah. So did you throw it away like you told me not to use deodorant, so I threw it away. Have you thrown your spray away? No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've seen you take and you're getting dressed and everything to go out and stuff. I've seen you take the spray and spray yourself. I've seen you do it because you want to smell nice for the people outside. Yeah, but I don't spray anything on myself. I just figure if I'll go out as I am. Yeah. Now I've never the only thing I've ever used is the underarm deodorant. That's the only thing that I have ever used at any time. Other than when I shave, I put that after shave lotion on. It just takes the sting out of your skin and stuff. But that doesn't. No, I don't. You told me not to use it, so I don't use it. I threw it away. Well, see, but Chat GPT is artificial intelligence. It's not real intelligence. It's artificial. So, yeah, it's great for looking things up, but it's not a human being that's talking to you. It's artificial. So, yeah, yeah, they can research. You ask a question and they can research their data banks and everything to find out, you know, the answer you're looking for and stuff. But I don't rely on it. You use that every single day. I may use it once a week. Yeah, but see, I don't even. I have it. It's See, it's right there on this phone. You know, it's right there on this phone. But the phone I'm talking to you on, I don't even have it downloaded on this phone, and I don't have it downloaded on my computer. I have it on this other phone if I want to ask it a question. But like I said, I only use it maybe once a week. I'll I'll ask it something. So but you use it more than one time a day. You probably use it multiple times every single day. Not me. If and there's times if I want to know the answer to a question, I'll just go into Google Chrome or whatever and just type in, you know, what year did this happen, or what year did that happen, or when was this person born, or when did this person die. I won't even ask Chat GPT. I'll just go into Google search and type in what I want to know the answer to. Yeah, I very rarely use that Chat GPT because before I met you, I never even heard of it. Never. No one had never mentioned anything about that before I met you. Yep. Yep. But like I said, I'll still go into Google Chrome and type in what I'm looking for rather than use Chat GPT. I'll just I'll just go into Google Chrome or Edge, Edge, which is another browser, you know. So I just rely on what I've always relied on for many years. See, the first time I ever had a computer was in the year 2000. That was the very first computer I ever had. Now I have a computer because I can do it on my phone, but all my bills, every bill I got, my car insurance, car payments, life insurance, rent, my electric bill, my phone bill, my internet bill, everything is paid online. Actually, I have it set up to automatically come out of my bank account, every month to pay my bill. So that's why I don't have checks. I don't have to write checks out. Everything is done online. But before 2000, I never had a computer. So if I wanted to pay bills before 2000, I would just go wherever and pay my bill. So I mean, myself personally, I can live without a computer and phone, cell phone, and everything. I can live without it. I mean, I my life wouldn't change any bit if I didn't have a computer or a cell phone. For me, everything, my daily life would be the same as it is right now. Yeah, with the phone, we can, that's how we do our video chats because, with the phone. But if I did not have a phone, you know, my life would not end. So I, yeah, use the phone for video calls with you and stuff, and yeah, before the year 2000, I didn't have Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or YouTube or before 2000 I had none of that. I wasn't on social media, you know, way back in the day. But nowadays there ain't there's nobody. I don't think. I mean, I went out the other day. I ate at Bob Evans. It's a restaurant here, in the states, and I I ate. All I got was a small bowl of well, it was two biscuits and sausage gravy. That's I just wanted something different, and so I got a small order of sausage and gravy, biscuits, and I'm sitting there waiting on my food. There was there was two couples sitting in a couple other booths. I was just sitting at a little table. It was just by myself. So there was a couple in one booth and a couple in another booth. The the one couple, they had their phone, turned sideways, and they had it mounted, and they're watching stuff while they're sitting there eating. It's like, why don't you shut your phone off and enjoy your meal? You don't have to have your phone on while you're eating. But obviously, they felt that they had to. And then the other couple, they were they were waiting. They were all both on their phones because they were waiting on their food to be, delivered to them and stuff so they could eat. And then when their food was delivered, they're eating, but they're holding their phone in their hand, eating and watching their phones at the same time. And when I had my phone with me, but when I went into the restaurant to eat, I left my phone in the car. I figured I'm not going to be just distracted. I'm there to enjoy the food, not to be watching my phone. But some people, and you're one of them, you think your life is going to end if you don't have your phone in your hand. And I'm not that way. But people rely on their phone so much in today's in the world today. Everybody feels that they gotta be on their phone. And some people, if they didn't have to sleep, they'd be on their phone 24/7. They would never put it down. Never. But not me. I mean, I can live without my phone. I would not be lost. There's things to do that you don't need to have your phone. But and I'm not trying to be mean, but you're one of those people that feel you cannot live without having your phone in your hand. That you have to be on your phone. Like I said, if you didn't have to sleep, you'd be on your phone 24/7. You would never, if you did not have to sleep, you would feel that your life would end if you're not on your phone. That's how that's how you are. And I'm hoping that when we're together, you're not doing that all the time. When we're out and about walking or blogging or whatever and stuff, but like, there's times that, oh, okay, well, it's just like right now, yeah, we're talking and stuff, but you have to I know you're recording, but you got to constantly look down at your phone that, I don't know why you got it on record, but yet you keep looking down at your phone. So, yeah, I know you're recording. I don't know why you got to keep looking at it. But, some people, they just, they feel that their life would end right then and there if they were not on their phone. There are people in the world that are that way. Yeah. Yeah, when we're making videos together, blogging or whatever and stuff, but we're not going to be doing that the whole time I'm there. So I'm hoping that when I'm there, that there's times that you just put your phone down and it's not in your hand. Like, like, put it in your pocket. When we're out walking or whatever, you don't have to be holding my hand, holding your phone in the other hand. You don't need to do that. Put it in your pocket. When I'm there, I want to spend time with you, not time with you and your phone at the same time. I'm there to spend time with you. I want your concentration to be on me. There's times, yeah, when we're making videos or or vlogging or whatever and stuff, that's fine. But when that time comes, then it's just then it'll just be you and I, without our phones in our hands. So you say you're gonna you say you're gonna be concentrating on me when I'm there and stuff. Well, I hope that's true. I'm hoping that you don't have your phone in your hand the whole time I'm there. So you're my life too, sweetheart. I thought I saw a bird, but I didn't. I saw something go by the window, and it was a squirrel. It was just a squirrel running by, and I saw his tail and stuff. because I raised up to look and then I saw it out there was a squirrel on the sidewalk. And at first I thought it was a bird because it went by real fast. And it was just a squirrel running by. All I could see was because right now I can't see the sidewalk, but when I raised up I can see the sidewalk. So it was just his tail as he was running. His tail was like up in the air and stuff. And so at first I thought it was a bird out there. Was but it wasn't. It was just one of those black squirrels. No, I have not seen any. I have not seen any since I hung that out. So squirrels the only thing I've ever seen. I mean, I see other birds, flying around and stuff out there. It's not hummingbirds, but it's just regular birds and stuff. But yeah, since I hung that hummingbird feeder out there a few days ago, I have not yet seen one hummingbird. And as I'm sitting here in my chair, I can see it and stuff, and that way I can see if there's a hummingbird out there, you know, with his beak in there, drinking the water and stuff. But so far I've seen nothing. So I don't know. It might be because it's so hot outside right now. I mean, it's only like around 70 right now, but it's supposed to get up to like 88 today. So it'll be another hot one. Yeah. Well, now the past 2 days before today, it was like 92 to 95 the past 2 days. So, but July and August are always our hottest days, hottest months of the year. So that's normal for it to be hot and stuff during July and August. So but then come the end of August and going into September, it'll cool down some. The highs may be in the upper 70s and might get down in the 50s overnight. But come like September, because it'll gradually the season will gradually because in September is when fall begins anyway. And today would have been my brother's birthday, Ken. Yep, yep, yep. Today would have been his birthday. Well, no, he was cremated. I have his ashes here, just like I have my mom's ashes here. Yeah. Well, I just have the ashes, sitting here. They're in a box and stuff, and I'm not going to get them down because they're way up on the top shelf of one of my shelves, and I have no reason to get them down or look at them or anything like that. They're there and stuff. But yeah, I know you told me that, but I'm still going to be cremated when my time comes because I've already made all the arrangements. Everything's all taken care of. So because that's what I'm going to have done because I figure when you're dead, you're dead. So whether it's burial or cremation, and the cost the cost is so much different. Like if your body is you got to buy the casket to put the body in, then you got to buy a vault to put the casket inside of, then the vault is to put into the ground. So for a regular burial, it will cost somewhere $8,000 to $12,000 for a burial, for them to dig up the ground, to put the body in the casket in the vault, put the vault in the ground, cover it back up. It's going to be anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000. Cremation will only be $3,000 to $4,000. So the cost, you will be saving so much money with cremation. Cremation would cost tops maybe $4,000. The low end of regular burial, the lowest price would be $8,000. So cremation would be half the cost of burial. And the burial could be anywhere from $8,000 up to $12,000. So there's a big difference in the cost. And that's why, that's why I'm going with cremation, because then somebody else will be getting more money than, because if I go with burial, I've only got a $20,000 policy. And if 12,000 of that goes for burial, then that's only going to leave like, 12, that would only leave like $8,000. But if I go with cremation of the $20,000, that means somebody would be getting $16,000 rather than $8,000. So with cremation, the remainder will be double what the survivor would get compared to burial. That's why I'm going with cremation, because that way there's more money for whoever, whether it's you or whether it's the children's home, whoever. I originally had it set up that all three of my brothers were going to get $2,000 each. Well, they're all gone now, so that's $6,000 that will go to somebody else. And of course, right now, Kevin out there at the children's home, he's my executor of my estate. He's the one that will, once, if something would happen to me, right now, that he is the one that would contact the insurance company to get paid and everything like that. And then I've written everything out as to, who gets what, the money and stuff. And of course, with all three of my brothers being gone, my sister is the only one still alive that, would get any money if something was to happen right now. Now, once you're here and we're married, then you will be in charge of all that. If something would ever happen to me, that you would be in charge because you're my spouse. So you're the one who would be in charge of all that. But as of right now, Kevin out at the children's home is in charge of everything. And he would be the person who would be in charge of coming in, you know, cleaning out my apartment, cleaning everything out, and whatever he did with it, is entirely up to him. Whether he kept anything or threw everything out or whatever, that's up to him then. But once you're here, then you'll be in charge of everything. So my life insurance, who gets paid, where the money goes, and everything. So right now Kevin's in charge of everything because, I'm not married yet. But once you're here and we're married, then you're in charge of everything. So mm, we are what? Yeah. but we may be immortal. We may live, in eternity, but eventually everybody is gone. I mean, everybody at one point, sometime or other, you know, everybody will be gone. I mean, I'll be gone sometime, you'll be gone sometime, but we'll still live in the afterlife. I mean, we'll still be together. But, everybody's gone at some point. Nobody lives. I know, but it happens. It's, you know, it happens, whether it's to you or whether it's to me or whether it's, to whoever. It happens. It will happen. Yeah, I know. I know, hon. And I don't want you to be alone, but you know, I don't want to leave you, but yet you never know when something's going to happen. Nobody knows. Accidents, yeah, accidents do happen. I mean, it's just part of life. Accidents happen. I mean, it may not be our fault. It might be somebody else's fault, but accidents happen. It's just, it's just part of, it's just part of everyday life. Things happen, and yeah. Well, I just seen something on. I don't know if I seen it on my phone or if I saw it was on the news or something. They were showing a lady that was 116 years old. 116, 16, 116. But I don't know where she was from. I don't know what country. They just, she was on the news because, the fact that she was 116 years old. Yeah, I don't know. I just seen her talk. They weren't really interviewing her because she really couldn't, carry on regular conversations and stuff. But they showed who she was and stuff, and the fact, said that she's 116 years old. So, but who she was or where she was from, I have no idea. Yeah, but some people they live for a long time, and nowadays the age, the expected age of people to live to, it goes higher and higher all the time, and so you just never know. I mean, some people may live, quite a few years past 100, and then there's some people that you know just are gone just like that. You never know. Do what? No, that'll never ever happen. Never. I don't care who the person is. They will never. Nobody will never live to be 200 years old. No, I'm sorry, hon, but that's not you. It will never happen. I mean, you got a long ways to go because I'm more than double your age right now. So, uh huh. Yep, there you are dreaming again. You and your dreams. Yep. Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I mean, and nowadays everybody, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, the mom and dad's kids, there's even kids that, I don't think there's a single kid in school that doesn't have a cell phone. I don't, unless somebody is so poor that they can't afford it to get their, kid a cell phone. But everybody has cell phones. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But I just figure, well, you know, you know, I just figure everybody's going to be gone at some time. You never know when. Could be walking down the street and somebody accidentally, hits you with a car or vehicle or whatever. You just never know when an accident will happen. Yeah, yeah, but right, but I mean, if I didn't, there's two things right now. If I didn't, need to go and see my sister every now and then, and if I was not going to get plasma, I wouldn't even have a car because we have city bus here in town, so I can get on the bus and go anywhere. And there's people that that will go from here and they'll get on the bus and go up to the store or whatever to go shopping, and then the next time the bus comes around, they'll get back on the bus to come back here and stuff. So people use the bus to go, grocery shopping. So yeah, if it wasn't for going and seeing my sister and going to get plasma right now, I would just turn my car back into, where I have it, the loan at, and stuff, and I'd say, well, I'm giving up driving. I'm not going to drive anymore. So, you guys do with it, the car, what you want to do with it. If my sister was gone and I didn't have to go and get plasma just to try and get a little bit of extra money. Now, once, I'm back from seeing you, um, then I may just cut down on giving plasma. I may just go once a week. So now, like today, I got $50 Monday, but today I will not get the $80 because my weight is below 230 pounds. So I'll lose $2. So instead of $80 today, I will only get $78 because of my weight being below two. If it's 230 to 400 pounds is the high, and so that's what gives me my $80 on my second visit. If I'm below 230, then it goes down by $2. And then if it goes down below another weight, which I'm not sure what the weight is, um, it just depends on what your weight is as to how much you get. So like today, I'll get $78 rather than 80. So, and of course, uh, not Charlie, but the guy who lives in one of the back apartments, Terry, he came over and knocked on my door and asked me if I could run him up to pay his electric bill, and I said yeah. So he gave me $20 to run him up to the store, pay his electric bill, and bring him back. So so I made $20 yesterday from doing that for something that takes less than a half an hour. So I got $20 for like 30 minutes. And I had plenty of gas. I got 3/4 of a tank of gas in my car, so it wasn't like I was needed money for gas or anything. I just so then when I go today and get plasma, like I said, I'll get $78 more today. So and my right arm, which is what they used Monday, it's perfectly fine, no mark at all on it. So both of my arms are good to go right now. So I will use my right arm again today because they can find the vein on my right arm better than my left arm. The left arm is a lot of times they'll stick the needle in and they don't hit the vein, so they gotta move it around, and that blood that gets underneath the skin, that's what bruises it. So I'll use my right arm again today. As long as they don't bruise me, I'll use my right arm every time. But if they happen to bruise it, then I've got the other arm that they can use. So yeah, about your bedtime. it's it's 8:17, so and of course I'll get up and get dressed and go get plasma this morning. And because usually if I go in the morning, see they just opened up at 8 o'clock. So they've only been open for 17 minutes so far. But sometimes if I go, early in the morning like this, they're not very busy because a lot of people are at work, that work, like say Monday through Friday. So a lot of people that, you know, work during the day, they can't go until after they get off of work. I mean, they close at 6, but a lot of people that probably go also work. And see, I work, but I only go on my days off, Monday and Friday. So, so you look like you're about ready to fall asleep. Your eyes they look like they're just getting heavier and heavier and heavier, like you're having a hard time keeping them open. Yeah, yeah, I can do that too. But then they start going closed, smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah, but like Chinese now, Chinese or Japanese or something. Uh, sayonara. So I know some like sayonara, uh, aloha in Japan, in Hawaii, aloha means hello or hi or goodbye. You know, yeah, I mean it's the same word for whether it's hello or goodbye. You know, in Hawaii it's the same word. And I know, let's see, what is, oh, and now I'm trying to think, there's other words I know, uh, sayonara, which is goodbye in Spanish, sayonara, um, sayonara, and let's see, Gesundheit is German for bless you or excuse you or whatever. Gesundheit, that's German. Let's see what else. Now, I know some different sayings for like hello, goodbye, and stuff like that. You know, I don't know regular words and phrases and everything, but I know some of the, like hello, goodbye, good night. You're trying you're you're trying to keep your eyes open, but it ain't working. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm still, well, I'm still waking up. I mean, I've been up for about an hour and a half now, and I haven't done anything except sit here, so I'm still waking up. Yeah. Your what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's because you've always sit. That's always because you have your legs bent back underneath of you. You're always sitting on your bent legs and stuff, and yeah, it's gonna give you pain. Well, I'll just have to relieve the pain when I'm there. Well, then while when you're laying on your belly, I'll massage the back of your knee area and stuff, massaging and stuff, try and make it feel better. And that's all I'm going to say because you're recording. So we'll leave it at that. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're stunning. And I love you. No, not little old me. I mean, not big old me. I'm your life, big old me. Mm, uh, then I hope when I get this letter from the State Department that whatever information they need, I can get it to them right away. I'm hoping they will allow me to email it to them, whatever they need. And until I get that letter, I won't know what it is. But I'm hoping that it's something very simple that I can email to them so they get it right away. Because once I get the letter and I know what they need, then I will be calling them because they gave me a toll-free number to call, and there's like an 8-digit locator number, so that when I talk to somebody, they can punch that number into their computer and they can call up my application, and that way they can see what they waiting for and stuff, and I'll say, oh yeah, I got that, or I can get that, give me an hour and I can have it for you or whatever and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that they will allow me to email whatever they need to them, rather than wait rather than put it in the mailbox and wait for it to go through the mail. Because the mail here, they call it snail mail because it moves so slow. Like here in Worcester, or I'll stop talking. You're listening right now. Yeah. Well, I stopped talking because you're listening to them. Okay. 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 Now, if I like here, if I mail a letter or whatever here and it's going to somebody in Worcester, it will go from Worcester to Cleveland. It will get on a truck, go from Worcester to Cleveland, then from Cleveland back down to Worcester. Even though I'm mailing something from me to somebody else in Worcester, our post office does not have the capability of sorting it and keeping it local. They have to send it to Cleveland, and Cleveland has to send it back down here to be delivered from Worcester to Worcester. And it's ridiculous. it's just it's just like, hopefully whatever the State Department needs, I can email it, because if I have to send it by mail, it'll take a week for them to get it. That's why I'm hoping that whatever they need, I can email it to them. I can use my printer, scan it, and stuff, and then attach it, then go into their website and attach it as an email and send it to them. So hopefully I can do that, whatever information they need. So I won't know until I get the letter as to what they need, and then I gotta call them to find out, you know, if I can email it to them or not. So right now I'm just waiting to get whatever the letters saying whatever I need. Matter of fact, I think I'll take and minimize this. I'm going to go into my mail and let's see, and all, nope, Myers. Venmo. Um, actually, I'm not getting any mail today because I just checked my mail. Because usually after 8 o'clock, it'll list. Because I signed up for USPS, which is United States Postal Service. I signed up for it years ago so that when I'm going to be getting something in the mail, it will, in my emails, it will notify me as to what I have coming, in the mail. And it's it's 8:30 now, so and I just checked my mail and there's nothing listed, being delivered to me today. So I know I won't be getting any mail today. So so I can check that every day and I can know ahead of time before the mail gets here. Sometimes the mail doesn't get here until 5 in the afternoon. But then there's other times it'll get here by 10 o'clock in the morning. So, it just depends on who the person is delivering the mail. If it's somebody new that's never been on this route before or whatever, then it takes them a little bit longer. Actually, it takes them quite a bit longer at times. So it just depends. But I have no mail coming today, so am I boring you? No, you're doing whatever with your hands. I thought maybe you're bored. Oh, okay. Hello, how are you? How you doing? Okay. Good night, so long, farewell. See you later. Bye bye. All. Go to sleep. Bye tonight. uh, do what? Continue? Well, let's see. Supposed to be another warm one today. Sun shining, not raining. Running out of things to talk about. Yeah. No rain right now, but you never know. There it can there it can just start raining at any time. You never know if it's going to rain because there's times that wasn't looking like it was going to be raining, but then you're out walking and you say, "I didn't bring my umbrella." Well, you didn't know it was going to rain. It wasn't raining when you left. You didn't know it was going to start raining. And I figure, hey, if it starts raining, and I'm going to work or I'm coming home, I figure I ain't going to melt. If I get wet, I get wet. I'll just look. If I get wet, I'll just look like a drenched rat. I figure if I get wet, if it's raining and I get wet, I ain't gonna melt. So I get home or whatever, I just dry off. They're talking again. I, I was checking to see if you were paying attention or if you were listening to them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, not washing her dishes and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. She eats, but then she doesn't do her dishes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 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 I'm gonna. I gotta get out. I gotta go to CR because I'm gonna take my bowl and put it in the sink and fill it up with water and stuff so it soaks. See, it's all empty right now. Ah. So yeah, I'm gonna, I'm gonna take that over and put it in the sink and fill it up with water. So that way when a little bit later when I wash it and stuff, it'll be the food particles in there will be soft and stuff, so it'll be easier to wash. So I'm gonna go put that in the sink, and I gotta go to the CR because I gotta. I'll be right back. Okay. There we go. Ah, hi. Do I do I know you? I I've seen you before, but I can't remember. Don't know what your name is, but I've seen you before. Ray Ray? No. Rena, no. Oh, I know. It's Ronaldo. I know you. Yep, now I know who you are. Yep, I know. You look like somebody that I would get along with very, very, very well, and will most likely get engaged to, maybe marry. That's a possibility. Husband and wife forever. Yep. Ah, it's it's Mr. and Mrs. Ronaldo and Robert Marshall. Meh, meh. I got my and I got water because on the day that I go and give plasma, I drink nothing but water. I mean, there's other days that I drink water, but sometimes I want something different. It's got a taste to it. So sometimes I'll drink some Pepsi the zero sugar, and then sometimes I'll drink my iced tea. Well, it's my sun tea that I make outside, put it in the refrigerator. So sometimes I'll drink tea, and sometimes I'll drink Pepsi, and then most of the time I just drink, what I've got now, water. But the day of that I give plasma, that's all I drink is water, especially before I go, because the water helps thin your blood out so that the process goes faster. So when it's like drawing blood, it it flows faster because the water helps thin it out some. Yeah, yeah. Why? Because I drink that now, and then when I leave, I will I will fill this up with ice water and have it in my car as I'm driving up, and as I'm driving, I'll also be drinking the water and stuff, and then once I get up there, um, I just passed Monday. I was from the time they put the needle in my arm until they pulled it out and I walked out the door. I was there less than an hour. So sometimes it goes real fast, and then sometimes it just goes a little bit slower. It depends on how busy they are, and if the girl that's putting the needle in, if she like Monday when she did it, the girl found when she stuck the needle in, she found the vein on the very first try. She didn't have to move it around or nothing. As soon as she stuck it in, then a little bit of blood came into the tube, and of course, then they take and then they connect the two ends together. That the part that's in your arm and then the part that goes into the machine, they have to connect them and stuff. And but yeah, because I even told her, I said, "Oh, that's great. You found it on the first time." She said, "Yeah." She said, "Sometimes I get lucky and that happens." I said, "Yeah, because if you don't, that usually means I'm going to get a bruise. If you have to move that needle around to try and find the vein, that means, that I'm going to wind up with a bruise." She said, "Yeah, that happens." So, but Monday, she found it on the very first time. So that was good. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'd say today's which today's date? It's the 17th for me. Well, you're still on the 17th. You won't be on the 18th until midnight your time, which is, because it's the quarter till 9 now. So in a little over 3 hours, you'll be on the next day. But I'd say by the 20th, I'd say, well, if you order it like say the 20th or whatever and stuff, it'll take what, two, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever, however long it takes to get it delivered. So, I'd say any time within the next week, if you order within, say, the next week, it'll definitely be there before I get there. So, yeah, sometime next week will be fine. Yeah. That way it'll definitely be there before I get there and stuff. And because I don't want you to have to buy it, and then that's something else you have to set in your room to make, you know, to be storing more because you're already storing your juicer and the massage bed, and all your personal stuff, and then to buy another box with the juicer in it, there's no sense in having it just sitting there taking up what little bit of room you've got. So I don't want you to have it sitting there, for a long period of time because you've only got so much room as it is. I don't want you to lose more room, more space and stuff. So yeah, sometime next week will be fine. And when you get it, don't open it. Leave it completely sealed up, and everything. That way, when I get ready to leave and take it to the airport with me, they can open it up to inspect it to make sure there's like no contraband inside or whatever. You know, so don't open it when you get it. That way, I don't want them to think, well, they're trying to smuggle something out or whatever and stuff. I don't want them to think that. I've never used drugs, and I don't want anything to do with drugs or anything. But I don't want them to think that because I'm from the United States and I'm in the Philippines and I'm going back to the States. I don't want customs there to think that I'm trying to take something out of the country that I shouldn't be. So, so once you get it, just don't open it up. Just leave it completely sealed up. Okay. That way they won't have any reason to be suspicious. So that way the customs at the airport when I get ready to leave won't have to be suspicious of an open package. If it's sealed, I mean, yeah, obviously even if it's sealed, they will open it up so they can inspect it to make sure that what it's supposed to be is what it is. I mean, they'll open it, but I'm fine with that. I just don't want them to see that it's already open and or been open and retaped. I want it to be as is, in the package sealed up and everything. So just make sure you don't open it once you get it because you got yours that you'll be bringing with you to the hotel and stuff, so we can make juice there while I'm there. But oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah, when I'm there, you know, we'll be able to bring yours to the hotel and stuff. So yeah, we'll use yours at the hotel and stuff to make juice. Yeah, and a massage chair. Yep. Now let me ask you this: uh, when you went, and checked out, where the hotel and stuff is, How far is that from where you stay at? Yeah, the hotel that we're going to be staying at, that I made the reservations at. How far is that from where you live at right now? Because I know it's only 1.6 miles from City Hall, but how far is it from your room?